Matt, I don't know exactly how to get this question out because but I think
be straightforward with it.
Anyway.
Let's hear it.
It's just a little convoluted, like most of my questions. So, and I'm trying to do it without attacking Josh, using Josh as an example, because he's a good dude. So there's this talk of like, hey, can Dave program someone out of the games, or anyone can win the CrossFit Games, or you'll hear even top athletes say, hey, anyone can win. It just depends on the programming. And I've always understood that is not your mentality, that you're going to be good at everything and you're going to take control of the situation no matter what, and you're going to win the games.
That's half right.
And if that is okay, I'll give you a chance to unfuck me in a second. Is it going to be hard for you when the other 99% of these athletes who are still so good and so amazing can't have that mindset? Like, how are you going to be able to relate to someone who can let excuses come into their brain like that?
Why do I have to relate to someone like that?
I guess you don't have to, but it's going to, if you're going to be, what's the other option to get them to view your perspective?
Why do I have to interact with them?
Medeiros, for example, or anyone who you're going to train with or mentor in their forward progress in the games.
No, if someone has a bad attitude, probably I'm not going to work with them in any capacity.
So that you would say that's a bad attitude?
Like making excuses? I mean, yeah. If they're legitimate, no. Like there are.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
There's top games athletes who you've heard say, well, the programming really played a huge role. And I just can't see that coming out of your mouth.
I think
even if you thought it, you would push it down. When I've heard
it, there are times that it's valid. Like programming can sway it. You know, if there's a 100-point gap, no, it's probably not programming. It's just a 100-point gap. But programming can jostle spots. Like if they're within 5 points of each other and there's some play back and forth. Yeah, of course. Like if you're testing for strength, one of the events, like 1 out of 6 events is a test of strength and it's a 1-rep lift. Yeah, you can sway programming by programming a 1-rep snatch or a 1-rep deadlift. 2 very different people can win that workout. Or like think about it between Fikowski and I. If you want to test like aerobic capacity and it's like, all right, we're doing a mile time trial. All right, mile on what? Are we running a mile? Because yeah, I'll crush it. Are we swimming a mile? Because then Fikowski is going to crush me. So there can be little sways, but I think that's the point of like having well-rounded programming. It's over enough events, so that's where you can see some big sways out of these sanctionals or like weekend competitions where there's 5 events, 6 events. Well, chances are it's not completely well-rounded. You're taking it as a.
I don't know. It didn't seem to affect you.
Yeah, but my point gap was always bigger at the games.
Right.
I was always more stressed over regionals than I was the games.
Well, there's less room for error, right?
Exactly.
There's less workouts.
Yeah, there's only 5 workouts, 6 workouts, whereas at the games you're looking at 12 to 15.
And so I feel like,
and I think that I think you agree with me, and you're trying to not agree with me, not because it's me, but because
I don't even remember what the original fucking question was.
Go ahead, Josh. You answer, and I'll remember the question. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, I think that there definitely can be programming where it can affect who goes to the games and who doesn't. I felt like Dave at the regional level, it was very. Dave did a great job of making the workouts for the most part. There's probably a certain instance where I disagreed with him a couple times, but like. That's always going to be the case, right? Because I obviously I want some things to play in my favor rather than someone else's favor. But what I've seen so far is, and I actually thought that the sanctionals was a really awesome event for the athletes because there were so many more chances to go to the games than just your one chance at these regionals again. But like at the Granite Games, I thought that was a very I didn't see that as a well-rounded programmed event, and that's obviously just my opinion. And the only reason I look at it that way is because I only saw short workouts. There was nothing that was 20, 25, 30 minutes long, where when you go to the CrossFit Games, like, you have to be able to do like 4-hour events, you know, not just a 7-minute workout. And so when you're trying to do that, yeah, I definitely can see where it can sway who goes to the CrossFit Games, because when you do 6 events and all of them are 7 to 9 minutes long, that's the longest event. Now you're looking at a shorter power output athlete, and you're going to send them into an event where it's not going to do them any favors, because you're going to see multiple endurance events, and nothing under 20 minutes I would consider an endurance event.
My point being, though, is that Matt would just say, "So what?"
You're right.
The same way Jason Khalipa,
right.
The same way Jason Khalipa, and maybe he doesn't. Maybe he won't let it come out of his mouth, but his performance said it every time. Or Jason Khalipa won the 2,000-meter sprint and the long,
that's
and the
a row,
and the long.
Yeah, that's a
row.
That's completely different. That's completely different. That doesn't make any sense.
But you know what? Okay.
So, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. Matt is an anomaly, though, right? Like, Matt is a 5-time fucking. Matt is a 5-time CrossFit Games champ for a fucking reason. He is one of the fittest human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, right? Like, you can't.
Isn't that weird?
You can't use him
weird.
as the example, because he is.
Oh, I'm not using him as an example. I'm trying to figure out how is someone like. I feel like if Justin Medeiros were to say something like, "Well, I hope the programming hits in my favor," that Matt would fucking just like shit a diamond and then walk over and punch him in the throat.
I think he'd have a conversation with him and be like, "Listen, man, like, if you want me to be in your corner, that's not the right mindset." I think that's any of the, I guess, people who you consider like greats in the sport are going to talk to them, that guy, that Justin, that exact same way. And I think Justin has the mindset, man. He's a young gun. He's a fucking gunner. He's gonna, like, the way that he competed in 20, right, against Matt, where there's only the 5 of them, and you could see him, like, there was times where he was putting out where he probably it probably didn't really matter other than in his own pride. Right, like, he could have held back a little bit and like conserve some energy, but he was like, "No, fuck that! I want to beat Matt in this workout," and you could see it in his face. And a guy like that's a grinder, right? That's a guy who's like, he's not gonna make excuses. He's gonna hold himself accountable, and he's gonna go fucking get the job done.
And that was a reason why.
I want to agree with you, and I feel bad using Justin as an example. Sorry, Matt, I'll wrap this up quick. But I feel bad using Justin as an example because I don't know him, so I won't use him as an example. But I just think you're wrong. I just see so many top games athletes have that excuse, always in the back of their mind, ready to blame the programming.
So Justin, like, Adam asked me. So Adam is Justin's coach. On the last day he was up here, he was like, "Why are we here? Like, why did you invite us here? Why do you want to work with Justin?" And I was just like, I like him. I think he has a very bright future in the space, and if I can help him avoid some of the same mistakes I did, like, let's speed up that bell curve, that learning curve, you know? Like, what's the point of starting down here? Learn from some of the mistakes I did and kind of inch yourself forward.
You didn't say it's because you're a nice guy?
No,
Why would he call himself an asshole?